Well, it's new project time. I picked up this 1981 Honda cb900 Custom as kind of a project bike. It has super low mileage. In fact, it's got, let's look here, it's got 9,173 miles. Backstory is that the original owner bought it, put that 9,000 miles on it, and then put it away. So apparently it's been sitting for, 30 years or better. And then the fellow that I bought it from started the project. He got it to run, and then of course it had all the elements of age, like the carburetors were all plugged up and leaking, and none of the cables worked, and all the brakes were froze up, and tires dry rotted and all of that. So he tore the bike back apart and took the carburetors off, sent them out to be rebuilt, and then proceeded to attack all the other systems. He got the calipers rebuilt, front and back. Of course, on this bike it's kind of unique because it has 2 discs and 2 calipers up front. Not quite sure yet how all of that works, but he didn't get any further on the braking system. So from when I got it, I've had to clean out all the brake lines, and then of course the master cylinders, one for the front and the one for the rear, were totally froze up because time and water makes for really bad braking systems. So like I say, this master cylinders were completely froze up on them to the point I couldn't even disassemble them and rebuild them. So right now I've gotten the braking system, all the lines cleared out. The hoses seem to be in pretty good shape, cosmetically, and I can now get or blow air through them. Mostly it was the ends of the brake lines, like this banjo fitting here, that had started to corrode and had plugged up. It's just a tiny little hole that everything gets fed through. But the bike itself is in really nice cosmetic care. You can see the chrome works, and the exhausts are in really good shape, which these were prone to rot out up underneath. The paintwork is in really nice shape, other than there's just some little speckling around the I guess that must be a decal that they put on there. Really like the Honda emblems on there. I've taken apart all of the switches, like the starter switch and the run and kill and horn and brake light switches, and lubed them so they're working again. The previous owner to me put had new tires put on it. Look like they're really nice Parnellis. I think they're Parnellis or Dunlops. Sorry. Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, they're Dunlops. But bike has some unique features for the CB line. Of course, this at the time was their biggest bike in the CB line, I believe. Has air suspension, but unlike the Gull Wings, it just has, you just pump it up to a certain air pressure. It doesn't have a compressor to regulate that. I think he had either replaced the seat or had it redone because it's in really nice shape. The reason he gave up on the project was he had some physical conditions that popped up that were going to disallow him from finishing the project or ever riding it. Another unique feature to this particular bike is they were in the process of switching over from a chain drive on the left-hand side and to a shaft drive on the right side. And in order to do that, they had to, the only way they could figure it out was they actually put a another box that, what do they call it, transfer box. So it's got a switch or a switch here that switches between low and high on the transfer box. So essentially you have 10 speeds, but most people, I guess, how they ride them is go through the first 5 gears and then kick the transfer into overdrive. But I don't know whether those were problematic for the year of the bikes or not. It doesn't, I haven't seen anything real derogatory about it, but just a really super clean bike to start with as a project. And of course, going into this, I have some fairly solid mechanical background, but I've never worked on a bike, let alone a bike of this size. In my youth, I was pretty proficient at taking them apart, but I never got past that. And of course, it isn't like I need another project because my other one's sitting there underneath the tarp waiting for a little more attention. And this bike come with a front fairing. Looks to be like it's in fairly decent shape. It's got a few cracks, and it also has a rear rack with a passenger backrest there, which I think that'll probably go on if I ever convince the little woman into getting on this behind me, which will probably take a little bit of work. But anyway, that's I think that's about all I've got right now. I've gotten as far as, I think, like I said, I got the carburetors put back on and the air box, which is, to somebody that's never done that before, that was a major challenge. And I've replaced all of the cables, you know, like the throttle has 2 cables, the brake cable, I've gotten the choke cable, waiting on a speedometer cable, and like I said, those were all just victims of time rather than wear. You know, they were pretty much all just froze up. Had to take the ignition switch apart and clean it up. I'm waiting on a starter relay. It seems to be bad. I had to bypass it to crank it over, and I have been able to crank it over before I put the carburetors on. I took the plugs out and put a little oil down the cylinders and cranked it over just to make sure that everything sounded all right. So we'll move forward on this. I'm trying to get it, hopefully I can get it all put back together and ready to roll by the time it gets warm enough to ride it. Said the things that I'm waiting on right now is that speedometer cable and front and rear master cylinders. He had bought a new master cylinder, a rear master cylinder, but it didn't fit right. It was one of those kind of universal things. But anyway, and I did pick up, for my little project, I picked myself up a jack that I found in the local pawn shop. That was a score for $100. Does a really nice job of getting the bike up in the air so I can sit on my stool and work on it at a good position. But anyway, well, I'll take you along. This is not going to be a how-to video or anything like that. It's just more of a show you what I'm working on, and then when I get ready to fire it, I'll set up cameras and we'll see if we can get it to start and run. But anyway, thank you for watching.